Alright, so both game from tonight is in the books, and if you were the home team, this was a good night for you because both home team were able to get the W tonight, and that include the New York Red Bulls for the second game in a row where they face against a team unbeaten, and it's the second game in a row where they were able to hand the opposition their first loss of the season. And with Nashville SC losing this game, that means the Seattle Sounder is the last man standing as the unbeaten team. And we shall see tomorrow when they play against the Galaxy whether or not indeed they're going to be the last man standing in terms of the unbeaten club this season by the end of this week. But first of all, as I mentioned in the preview, I forgot to talk about how both of these games, is there any player that is actually going to be missing due to international break? Well, for Nashville, the only player that's going to be missing during international break is Hunda Cadiz, who was one of those players that was with Venezuela in Copa America and was part of the rumors that it seems like him, alongside with Joseph Martinez, has suffered from COVID. So it's going to be interesting to see his timeline and when he does come back to Nashville, whether or not if he's going to have to go through that quarantine period. But for the Red Bulls, there is no player that is missing due to international duty, and there's no player that is currently with their national team in the Euros or in Copa America. In the first half, I thought the first 5 minutes, it was a relatively open game, and that was kind of not what I expected because I was thinking maybe Nashville was going to do what they always do on the road, which is they're going to sit back and just try to make a living hell out of the Red Bulls in terms of trying to break them down. There wasn't really a lot of chances in the first 15 minutes. That wasn't a big surprise because it seems like this season, when you look at most of the Red Bulls home games, it always tends to be slow in terms of the first 30 minutes of the game. But as the game did kind of eventually wear on, I started to see what I expected from Nashville, which is they started to sit deep and really making the Red Bulls hard to trying to break them down. And I even said the Red Bulls, unsurprisingly, have problem in terms of breaking down the Nashville bunker. And this shouldn't be something that is a little bit discouraging for the Red Bulls. Like anytime when Nashville go in a bunker, it's pretty much almost impossible to try to break them down. And really the only way that I think teams might find a way to break down this Nashville defense is somehow score or an amazing goal, or maybe cause them to have a rare mistake. And that first part was true for the Red Bulls because in the 37th minute, Fabio scored what is definitely in early contention for goal of the week as he scored from Kamala and Nealis to make it 1-0 in favor of the Red Bulls. And by the way, that's the first shot on goal, but what a goal that was with the way that Fabio basically hits that one perfectly on the volley. It rang off the post, and then Willis basically had no chance in terms of saving that one, and that gave the Red Bulls a 1-0 lead. Now, just a couple of minutes later, Davis did try to hit one from long range, but it goes straight to Joe Willis. But the momentum was definitely with the Red Bulls, and they had a chance to make it 2-0 right on the stroke of halftime as Nealis missed a free header wide and could have given the Red Bulls a 2-0 lead, but head to halftime, it's 1-0 in favor of the Red Bulls. So we go to the second half, and in the second half, Sapon thought that he got the equalizer for Nashville, but unfortunately that goal was disallowed for offside, and rightfully so, because when you look on the replay, Sapon was clearly in an offside position. The Red Bulls did eventually make it 2-0, and it's Kyle Duncan that scored from Caden Clark, and this was another wonderful goal from long range where Kyle Duncan basically plays that low-driven shot in a perfect area where no goalkeeper was able to save. And the Red Bulls were up 2-0 at that point, which, that might sound good for the Red Bulls, but if you're Nashville, it feels like, yeah, you just basically play right into our trap because we know we can potentially come back from a 2-0 deficit, and they almost made it 2-1 just a couple of minutes later, but Cornell with an incredible save to rob Liao, who was going through on goal. Nashville was definitely bringing the cavalry as they were looking to bring some attacking power and once again look to overcome a 2-0 deficit. Mukhtar then whacked the post on the free kick from about 23 yards out. That one went in. That would also definitely be in contention for goal of the week, but unfortunately that was just one of those where Mukhtar trying to strike it. He did get it over the wall, but unfortunately just did not have the dip to basically puts it into the back of the net. Then 2 minutes later, Willis on the other end denied tokens from long range as the game kind of started to become end to end a little bit, but eventually the Red Bulls did start it to take over the game a little bit and really try to put any doubt the fact that Nashville was going to build some momentum and maybe once again trying to overcome a 2-0 deficit. In fact, the Red Bulls also probably realized that, yeah, we've seen this before with Nashville trying to come back from 2-0 down. We got to make sure we got to get that third goal. And they almost had a chance to do so in the 85th minute when Tarek hits one wide on the header before right at the end of the game, Willis was able to deny Camilla in the back post in the 93rd minute. But still, the Red Bulls were able to get all 3 points in this game, and as I said, for the second game in a row, they hand their opponent their first loss of the season, and this time is Nashville SC. Shots in this one, 13 shots compared to 8 that Nashville has, 6 shots on goal compared to 1 that Nashville has. Both teams had 7 shots off target. Both teams did not have any shots that was blocked, which I don't believe that stat. I mean, I don't think I've ever review a game where there's actually no shots that was blocked, and I kind of remember there was at least one shot that from either of these teams that was blocked by the defense. But the fact that on the league website and on the stats says that both teams did not have a shot that was blocked, again, I kind of don't believe that is the case. But possession wise, the Red Bulls had 59% possession compared to 41% possession that Nashville SC had in this game. And for the Red Bulls, they continued their strong home form that they've been having this season. That's now 4 out of their last 5 home games that they have got all 3 points. And for Nashville SC, unfortunately, their luck ran out in terms of going down from 2-0. And I know this Nashville team has shown a lot of resiliency this season coming back from 2-0 down, but it's going to get to a point where if you're down 2-0 almost every single game, you're going to eventually run out of that luck and trying to come back from games. And I also feel like, this might give teams a little bit of a formula that, if you can, of course, score some incredible goals against this Nashville SC bunker, you're going to really make them open up a little bit. And that might actually not be a bad idea for Nashville to have to deal with going forward, because again, opponents will have to score an amazing goal, and it's rare that you would see teams that are able to score that amazing goal to kind of break that Nashville SC bunker. Although this season, especially with the way that we've seen a lot of bangers that has been scored this season, maybe that might be a little bit concern for Gary Smith, knowing the fact that, if you might just decide to bunker when you're on the road, but as soon as you give up that goal, that could definitely be an issue, and you're going to have to force yourself open up a little bit. And in this game, they did eventually open up a little bit. They did have their chances to get the equalizer or even get a goal back, but unfortunately they were just not there in terms of their finishing to come back from a 2-0 deficit like they did before. But now moving on, in terms of the next match, is RSL, who, even though they won 3-1 in this game, and on paper it looked like it was a comfortable win for RSL in this one, but when you actually look at how this game went, it was anything but comfortable for RSL, winning 3-1 against the Vancouver Whitecaps. In fact, you could even say that this looked like it was on verge to be a frustrating night for RSL, where once again they were able to go up 1-0 in the first half, only concede the goal in the second half, and never able to find a way to potentially get that second head goal to get all 3 points in this game, and maybe once again drop points at Rio Tinto Stadium. Now, neither team were missing players due to international duty, so that's definitely good news for both of these teams, and also kind of just shows that there should be no excuse from either of these teams saying that, well, we might have lost this game, but it may be due to the fact that we don't have any one of our star player that is currently at the Euros or at Copa America. But in the first half and 5 minutes into the game, Crépeau had to be called into action as he denied Julio, who went through on goal. I thought RSL showed some urgency early in this game, and you can clearly see that they desperately needed all 3 points in this game. Crépeau then make another big save to deny Ruiz in the 18th minute before Rusnak long-range effort hit straight to Crépeau. And, RSL, they were definitely pressing for the opener, but as the half goes on, things kind of started to get a little bit tight, and Vancouver, they started to kind of kill the momentum that RSL has had and kind of bring this game to be a very tight and just lackluster game where there seems to be a battle in the midfield and neither team was able to create much going for on the attack. But right on the stroke of halftime, Damir Krylak would score from Rusnak and Brody to give RSL a 1-0 lead in the 42nd minute. I believe this was a goal that was actually hits off of one of the Vancouver players. I think it was Rose the one that this long range shot that Krylak was basically put, and it basically redirect toward goal. I mean, it's a little bit fortunate for RSL, but certainly they deserve to go up 1-0, considered they, in the first half, I thought they were the better team and they create more of the dangerous chances. But then, just as we were about to head to halftime, Duhome did hit a free kick straight to Ochoa that could have given the Whitecaps a chance to equalize right on the stroke of halftime, but we head to halftime with RSL leading 1-0. So in the second half, before the second half actually started, RSL feed actually showed the mic up cam for Freddy Juarez, and not only the fact that I really love how they did that, and I can hear what Freddy Juarez was basically saying during the first half down in his technical line, but it also kind of makes me thinking, why do more teams don't actually do this? I mean, last season we kind of saw the mic up cam from the MLS's back tournament where we get to hear coaches what they actually said while the game is going on in the tactical area. And then we did have that one game between Montreal and New England where they also had the mic up cam for Thierry Henry and Bruce Arena, and we heard what they were saying down the touchline, and it just kind of makes me feel like, why don't they do that more often? Because I really like to hear what these coaches are basically saying during the touchline, and it's always fun to see that. And I'm not sure if this is something that RSL is going to do regularly, but I hope so, because I do really want to hear what coaches usually say down the technical area when the game is going on. Now, after they, of course, showed that and the second half was underway, I thought Vancouver actually started off the front foot, and you can definitely see that Marc Dos Santos might have said something to his players, because they were definitely the one that were the more stronger side coming into the second half. But at the same time, I didn't think they really created much. And just as I was finishing writing that, Vancouver got the equalizer, because that's how it works. Every time when I write something negative toward a team, they immediately decide to do the opposite and score the goal. And this time, the Whitecaps once again did it again, and it's Brian White that scores from Brown to tie the game up at 1 apiece. So a dream debut for Brian White in this game, and he actually had a chance to take the lead for the Whitecaps just a couple of minutes ago as he dragged his shot just wide from close range. Then 3 minutes later, Rusnak did flash one wide from 23 yards out before Brown actually had a free header, but he unfortunately missed that one wide. But I really felt the game was definitely for the takings in this one, as we definitely saw some decent chances for both of these teams. And then one thing I also want to kind of note is that during one of the substitutions that RSL, of course, made, and as Marcelo Silva was walking off the pitch, and you can see he was definitely shaking his head in frustration of getting subbed off. The co-commentator from the RSL feed basically said, I know Marcelo Silva is frustrated that he is getting subbed off, but at least he is handling this respectably. And then immediately after he said that, Silva basically sat on the bench and he grabbed the closest water bottle near him and just slammed it onto the ground. And I kind of had a bit of a chuckle in terms of that, because first, I don't think I've ever heard any commentator ever said that a player that might feel frustrated but they kind of hand it out respectfully. I mean, that's kind of a weird way to phrase it, but it's also kind of funny. As soon as he said that, Silva basically did something that probably is not a respectable way in terms of handing out your frustration, which is grabbing a water bottle that is nearest to you and basically slam it onto the ground. And Silva obviously have every right to be angry, because I didn't think he had a good game in this one, and there was definitely a couple of times, especially I think there was one time during this game where he made a really rash challenge on one of the Whitecaps player, and we know Silva, he is known to be a little bit stuck in terms of those challenge, and that one that he put on the Whitecaps player, I thought that could have been borderline of being a red card. So yeah, again, Silva, even though he is frustrated to be subbed off in this game, you know, it's kind of the right move because he did not have a good game in this one at all. But then just a couple of minutes later after that instant, Rose struck the post for the Whitecaps on the header as Vancouver almost almost take the lead for the very first time. They never had the lead in this game. It was RSL, the one that got the lead earlier in this one. The pace kind of started to slow down after just multiple instances of Whitecaps player going down with an injury, and I'm not quite sure if these Whitecaps player are doing this on purpose, just kind of slow down the pace, because, you know, the pace of the game was starting to go very fast, and it was kind of gone a little bit end to end, and I guess maybe the Whitecaps were just hoping they slow down the pace so that they can maybe escape with a point in this game on the road. Well, on the road technically, even though this is the stadium that they play for their home games temporarily. Then the ref you suck chant kind of rang out right in the first minute of stoppage time after fans were very angry at the referee not letting the player take a quick free kick. But then just after 1 minute after that ref you suck chant, RSL would get the go-ahead goal in the second minute of stoppage time, and they kind of give the Whitecaps a little taste of their own medicine in terms of scoring from a set piece. And, you know, even though this wasn't actually from a set piece, this was kind of a very set piece-like goal where Herrera basically threw this one into the box, and anytime when you do that, you just hope that maybe one of your teammates can basically flick it into the back of the net, and that is exactly what happened in this instant, as Eric Holt was able to be the player to flick it into the back of the net, and that gives RSL a 2-1 lead. They would make it 3-1 and put all doubt in this game just 2 minutes later when Damir Krylak scored his second goal from Meram and Herrera to make it 3-1 in favor of RSL, and that would be the final score of this game. As the shots in this one, 10 shots compared to 13 that Vancouver has, 6 shots on goal compared to 2 that the Whitecaps had, 1 shots off target compared to 8 that the Whitecaps had. Both teams had 3 shots that was blocked, and possession-wise, 60% possession compared to 40% possession that the Whitecaps had in this game. And again, for RSL, this was a much-needed win for them because, as I mentioned, they've dropped way too many points at Rio Tinto Stadium this season, and especially dropping points when they were up 1-0 in the game, and at times either drop points by conceding a late goal or drop all 3 points by conceding 2 late goals. But this time they didn't do it, and instead they actually are the one that able to score those 2 late goals to put this game in doubt. But for the Whitecaps, this has to be a very frustrating game because, you know, not only the fact that they didn't get anything out of this game, but they really at times had chances to score that second goal and basically they get that second goal and really just get the 3 points that they also needed coming into this one. But it wasn't meant to be for them, and now they're going to have to move on and just going to have to continue to find a way to snap out of this poor form that the Whitecaps has been going through in these past couple of games. But yeah, there you have it. That is pretty much it for the review of both of these games. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys leave a like, smash the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments below what do you think of both of these games. And yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.